So, what I like to do often on the days that we come to these broadcasts is I go back to that month's energy update and I just scan the themes that came through, because I always get the themes from the Z's. And I ask, is there any one of these themes or two of them that are relevant to the community, the portal community right now? Today, the one that I was very strongly vibrating with when I read them: allowing your conscious bravery to shift the energy. Allowing your conscious bravery to shift the energy. Now, I think of everything going on in Iran right now, which is heartbreaking to be aware of and to watch. But I look at the conscious bravery that people are risking their lives to stand up for change, quite literally risking their lives. And it was interesting. I recorded an interview yesterday for Impact the World, which won't really come out until January. But I spoke to Sahara Rose, who her parents came here from Iran and brought her and her family from Iran. So we had quite a talk about how she's experiencing all of that and what she's witnessing and feeling around it. So why I bring that up is not necessarily to focus you there. And of course, if you're an empath, I know that your heart might have sunk when I bring that up, if it's something you've been tracking or following. But that's one example of the kind of conscious bravery that we're being asked to use and employ in the world right now. So there I'm giving a very big example of what's going on in a country and a movement towards, I don't even want to say oneness, because ultimately they're trying to move towards oneness. But actually what they're trying to do is move away from horrendous oppression and horrendous abuse, power abuses and subjugation of people. So it's a whole other level for those of us who perhaps have grown up in the Western world, and it's not something that we're used to having to fight against, but the energy can be found everywhere. So the reason I bring this up is, if I boil it down to a very simple example that might affect you, it's you being brave enough to say the thing or do the thing that you might previously have been nervous to do or say. I've learned time and time again through personal experience and also through being a student of transformation and studying transformation, when we're a little bit uncomfortable to do something or say something, there is potent growth there. And often we focus it on ourselves. We'll often go, ooh, I'm nervous to say this. I need to overcome this thing in myself that wants to stop me saying it. Well, if you take it beyond you for a second, saying the thing that you know your family member or friend doesn't like, what you actually do is you impact the energy in the room. It's not just about you overcoming your fear. Sure, that might be where your biggest focus needs to be. Your biggest focus might need to be, yeah, I've never been confident to speak my truth because I've never had a good experience when I have, or I had to learn not to speak my truth because I was a bit too much. Or no one's ever given me permission to speak my truth, or the people I've been around have always cut me down. So I just learned I'm not allowed to say something that might affect the room. But the truth is, that pattern of behavior that you're in, if you put yourself in a completely different room full of people that you might not be used to, by the way, because you've not ever been around people like that, but a room of people who are very open and very supportive, and they're not triggered by the things that you say, you will have a wildly different experience. And there will be some energy in the room when you truthfully say something that you previously learned it wasn't safe to say. Likewise, if you do something in your life, you challenge yourself to be brave in action in a way that you previously would have stopped yourself from, or gone, oh no, I'm too scared to do that, or oh, my friends always said we shouldn't do that because. There's a lot of this energy around right now. Here's my usual line or the fence that I sit myself behind. What if I just put my neck over the fence? Or what if I actually climb over the fence and change some energy? Well, it's not just you changing yourself. The reason you feel that feeling, that discomfort, that nervousness is because you're going to have an impact on the world. Now, I think I'm going to share this example because this comes up a lot. One of the things I hear a lot is, well, I can't say that to my mom because she's always cutting me down and she just never wants to hear it. At which point we go, okay, well, you've got two choices. You either let your mum be in charge of your relationship for the rest of your life, or you actually start bringing your truth into the room, and it will do one of two things. It will reaffirm and remind you, if she constantly fights you or constantly shames or judges you for what you're saying, it will reaffirm to you, oh wow, I'm not welcome to be myself here. She doesn't want me to be me. She wants me to be the version of me that she would like me to be. And that's why she's being aggressive. That's why she's fighting back against me. Or, and this is a big or, but it's important. If you consistently say the same thing that you feel you need to say to your mom time and time again, and you get better at not being so nervous about the way she's going to react, being a bit more comfortable of going, yeah, she's going to say something abusive. But I've sat with my own triggers and my own feelings enough that I don't care. I'm not saying I'm not going to be a little bit hurt or a little bit wounded or still wish she was different, but I'm no longer going to silence myself. And every time she says that thing to me, I'm going to say what I want to say back. And what I want to say back is, every time I share my good news with you, you always pick it apart or you judge me. And I find that really sad. And I wish you would be different. And you might go, oh, I could never say that to her. Yes, you can. She might not react the way you want. She might come in even harder, even stronger. But here's the interesting thing. When you find the truth of that sentence inside you, whether you say it in words or whether you hold it in energy, and by the way, another option is just to limit the amount of time you see this person. Because you have to be really honest with yourself. Family ties are tricky because we go, well, they're my family, they're my blood. And often the grief that we have that they're not who we want them to be holds us there, as if the situation is going to change. But nothing's going to change unless you have the conscious bravery to change the situation. So it's either you make an adjustment in how often you're around them, but before you do that, you start playing the game differently. And if you consistently use that same sentence, whatever it is for you, I just gave you an example, but whatever it is for you, every time this incident or this moment comes up between you, one of two things are going to happen. They're either going to double down and get even more aggressive, and you'll go, wow, that's what I'm dealing with. I'm dealing with this part of them that wants to annihilate me every time I get more powerful or more sovereign. Or, slowly but surely, they will start to adjust and change. Slowly but surely, they will feel a little bit less safe to just dump on you, because you're going to say something that irritates them. Now, sure, you don't want to be the beating stick. You don't want to be on the receiving end of their irritation and their anger. Maybe you'll have to be the first couple of times, but this is why I say be consistent with your sentence. If you are in a boundary redefinition with somebody, it gets very confusing for the other person if you start giving them 9 different reasons there's a boundary. But if you stick with one thing, for example, every time you criticize the way I look, it makes me feel very sad. And I wish you wouldn't. And you stick with those words. Sure, they might double down, but they will not like hearing that. And you never know, after 3 or 4 times of you consistently saying the same thing, it might start to go in. Or if it isn't going in, you say, I'm going to start seeing you less, because every time I ask you to not criticize me, you don't listen. You clearly don't care about me. and you're not listening to what I need. Now, I'm not saying this is easy, and I know when we are enmeshed emotionally because of blood ties, because of family dynamics, it can be hard, but we can allow the conscious bravery to change the dynamic. Hi, I'm Lee, and every month I do an energy update. Some of you may have seen them. I take the pulse on themes that might show up for us energetically, emotionally, or psychologically. Well, on December 21st, the day of the solstice, I will be doing a live annual energy update. So I'll be taking a look at the whole of the year of 2023 and not only walking you through the 8 to 10 themes that I get about the year ahead, but also helping you find a way to approach some of those themes. And I close the whole broadcast with a channeled message from my guides, the Z's, about what we can expect in 2023. It will be around 60 to 75 minutes long, and it's completely free, so please join me by signing up at the link below. Hope to see you there.